A company wants to adjust the configuration of its EC2 instances to ensure they are properly sized for their workloads while minimizing management effort. Which solution achieves this with the least operational overhead? Correct answer: change the EC2 instance size and type based on utilization. Explanation: right sizing involves analyzing usage metrics and adjusting EC2 instance types or sizes accordingly. This can be easily done through the AWS Management Console or Compute Optimizer with minimal manual effort. Why others are incorrect: reprovisioning adds unnecessary effort and downtime. Changing payment models doesn't affect instance sizing. Adding instances in another AZ increases availability, not right sizing. To improve the fault tolerance of a critical business application in AWS, what's the best deployment strategy? Correct answer: deploy across multiple availability zones. Explanation: using multiple availability zones enhances resilience and ensures availability during availability zone level failures. Why others are incorrect: multiple VPCs increase complexity, not resilience. Another account doesn't inherently provide fault tolerance. Multiple subnets in one availability zone don't ensure high availability. Which AWS well-architected framework pillar emphasizes running workloads efficiently, gaining insights, and improving processes continuously? Correct answer: operational excellence. Explanation: operational excellence focuses on monitoring systems, automating operations, and continuously improving procedures. Why others are incorrect: performance efficiency focuses on optimal resource use. Cost optimization emphasizes minimizing expenses. Reliability ensures workloads recover from failures. Which AWS service provides recommendations for right-sizing EC2 instances based on workload history? Correct answer: AWS Compute Optimizer. Explanation: AWS Compute Optimizer analyzes historical usage metrics and suggests optimal instance types and sizes. Why others are incorrect: Systems Manager manages configurations, not sizing. App Runner is for deploying web apps, not analyzing workloads. Pricing Calculator estimates cost, not performance optimization. Which of the following best aligns with the principle of least privilege in AWS architecture? Correct answer: provide users the minimum access required to complete their tasks. Explanation: least privilege means granting only the permissions needed to perform specific tasks, nothing more. Why others are incorrect: restricting managers arbitrarily doesn't define least privilege. Time-based access isn't a best practice approach. Job title-based permissions can lead to over-permissioning. A company hosts its website on EC2 instances and wants to serve users globally with low latency. Which AWS service should they use? Correct answer: Amazon CloudFront. Explanation: Amazon CloudFront is a global content delivery network that caches and delivers content closer to users, reducing latency. Why others are incorrect: ELB distributes traffic, but not globally cached content. Lambda is compute-based, not for content delivery. Route 53 routes DNS queries but doesn't cache data. Which AWS feature provides instance-level firewall protection, controlling traffic to and from an individual EC2 instance? Correct answer, Security Group. Explanation: security groups act as virtual firewalls for EC2 instances, controlling inbound and outbound traffic at the instance level. Why others are incorrect: AWS WAF protects web applications from HTTP attacks. Network ACLs operate at the subnet level. Route tables manage routing, not security. How can a company ensure that its EC2 instances remain operational even if a regional disaster occurs? Correct answer: use instances across multiple AWS regions. Explanation: deploying instances across multiple regions ensures availability even if one region experiences a large-scale outage. Why others are incorrect: single availability zone deployment lacks fault tolerance. CloudFront improves delivery but not compute availability. Edge locations cache content, not run EC2 workloads. A company wants to get notified when its AWS resources reach 80% of their service limits. Which AWS service should it use? Correct answer: AWS Trusted Advisor. Explanation: AWS Trusted Advisor checks service limits and sends alerts when usage approaches thresholds. Why others are incorrect: CloudTrail logs API calls, not usage alerts. Inspector performs security assessments. Config tracks configuration changes, not service quotas. Auditors need to know if the AWS environment has changed since the last audit and what changes occurred. Which AWS service provides this information? Correct answer: AWS Config. Explanation: AWS Config continuously monitors and records resource configurations and changes, providing a historical record for auditing. Why others are incorrect: CloudTrail records API calls, not configuration states. Artifact provides compliance reports, not change history. IAM manages permissions, not audit tracking. Which AWS service notifies users and provides guidance when AWS incidents could affect their specific resources? Correct answer: AWS Personal Health Dashboard. Explanation: AWS Personal Health Dashboard gives personalized alerts and remediation guidance when AWS events directly impact your resources. Why others are incorrect: AWS X-Ray helps trace application performance, not service health. Service Health Dashboard shows overall AWS status, not personalized impact. CloudWatch monitors metrics and logs, not AWS service health events. Which AWS service automatically scans and evaluates applications for security and compliance issues? Correct answer, Amazon Inspector. Explanation, Amazon Inspector automatically assesses AWS workloads for vulnerabilities, improving security and compliance. Why others are incorrect, Trusted Advisor gives best practice recommendations but not vulnerability scans. Service Health Dashboard reports AWS service outages. X-ray traces app requests, not security. Which part of AWS's global infrastructure consists of one or more data centers with redundant power and connectivity? Correct answer, Availability Zone. Explanation, each availability zone contains one or more data centers with independent power and networking to ensure high availability. Why others are incorrect, regions are groups of AZs. Edge locations cache content for CloudFront. Outposts extend AWS infrastructure on premises. Which AWS option allows developers to access AWS services programmatically? Correct answer, AWS SDKs, Software Development Kits. Explanation, AWS SDKs enable developers to programmatically interact with AWS services using languages like Python, Java, or C#. Why others are incorrect, Cloud9 is a web-based IDE. Management Console is graphical, not code-based. Code Pipeline automates CI/CD workflows. Which feature is exclusive to AWS Enterprise support and not offered in other AWS support plans? Correct answer, Concierge Team. Explanation, the Concierge Team in Enterprise support provides account and billing assistance not available in lower plans. Why others are incorrect, Trusted Advisor is available in all paid plans. Support cases can be opened with business or developer plans too. Amazon Connect is a contact center service, not support related. A company operates a single EC2 instance but wants high availability. What's the best solution? Correct answer, scale horizontally across multiple availability zones. Explanation, distributing workloads across multiple availability zones provides high availability and fault tolerance. Why others are incorrect, dedicated instances are for isolation, not availability. Changing instance type only improves performance. Scaling vertically doesn't protect against failures. Which responsibilities can AWS take over from a company's IT team? Correct answers, patching database software and storage capacity planning. Explanation, AWS handles tasks like patching managed services and managing underlying storage capacity. Why others are incorrect, creating database schemas, writing application code and setting up access controls for datab are customer responsibilities involving data, code, and access management. Which AWS services are fully managed databases? Correct answers, Amazon RDS and Amazon DynamoDB. Explanation: RDS and DynamoDB are managed database services, RDS for relational data, DynamoDB for NoSQL. Why others are incorrect: Amazon EBS, EFS, and S3 are storage services, not databases. Which AWS service is ideal for creating and managing NoSQL databases? Correct answer: Amazon DynamoDB. Explanation: Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database designed for fast and predictable performance. Why others are incorrect: Aurora is relational. Neptune is graph-based. Redshift is for analytics. A company needs consultative migration support and a 30-minute response time for critical issues. Which support plans meet these needs? Correct answers: AWS Enterprise Support. Explanation: plans offer 24/7 access and fast response times for urgent issues. Why others are incorrect: Basic and Developer don't provide real-time or migration support. Which AWS resource enables quick deployment of pre-configured solutions for popular technologies? Correct answer: AWS Quick Start Reference Deployments. Explanation: AWS Quick Start provides automated, tested templates for deploying architectures fast. Why others are incorrect: Code Commit manages source code. CloudFront delivers cached content. Well-architected framework gives best practices, not deployments. Which actions require AWS root user credentials? Correct answers: changing AWS support plan and creating an Amazon CloudFront key pair. Explanation: only the root user can change support plans and create CloudFront key pairs for signed URLs. Why others are incorrect: removing an IAM user from administrators, creating EC2 key pairs and granting IAM user full admin access, can be done by IAM users with admin privileges. In Amazon RDS, what is the customer's responsibility? Correct answer: controlling network access through security groups. Explanation: customers manage access control via security groups, AWS manages backups, OS, and failovers. Why others are incorrect: replacing failed instances, managing the database operating system and handling backups manually, AWS automates these in managed RDS services. Which AWS service requires customers to manage software updates and patches under the shared responsibility model? Correct answer: Amazon Workspaces Virtual Windows Desktop. Explanation: with Workspaces, customers manage OS-level patches and updates. Why others are incorrect: Amazon FSx for Windows File Server, Amazon RDS for SQL Server and AWS Directory Service. These are fully managed services where AWS handles patching. A company developing an app for EU users must ensure compliance with regional regulations. Which AWS service helps determine which AWS offerings meet those standards? Correct answer, AWS Artifact. Explanation: AWS Artifact provides access to compliance reports and certifications relevant to regional regulations. Why others are incorrect: Audit Manager helps with internal audits, not AWS compliance evidence. Shield protects against DDoS. Compliance Program is an AWS initiative, not a customer-facing tool.